Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Kevin, one of the Malaysia running YouTuber. Today I'm going to update you guys on these pair of shoes. Adidas Evo SL after 300 kilometer. Yes, I just get these shoes during the limited release on the Malaysia on the October 28th itself. And the shoes already clocked 300 kilometers. So I'm thinking I should update you guys before the second limited release on the 2nd of December that available in Malaysia. These shoes already starting selling limited release in Japan and some other countries. And these shoes supposedly to release next year. But limited release of this white colorway and the other one I saw it in the Japan is the black colorway with the white stripe. I was wrong and correct about the shoes. If you guys want to go for the specs on my first impression of the 100 kilometer on the shoes, just click on the link below on the bio so you can watch the video before you watch to this video. Before you start, full disclosure, this pair of shoes is purchased by my own money. I'm just lucky to secure a pair during the limited release. And the shoes already 300 kilometer. And I'm going to talk about the experience I'm used the shoes, how I feel about the shoes, and what I really like about the shoes and what I hate about the shoes. So we're going to start about how I use the shoes. Basically, I use the shoe as my daily trainer. I go from a very easy workout all the way to the fast workout and long run up to 35 kilometer. I'm using this pair of shoes during this whole 3 weeks period. I'm just bashing this pair of shoes. So that's why it reached 300 kilometer so fast within 3 week time. So during this usage, the shoes went through a lot of things. Rainy season, because it's a monsoon season right around in Malaysia. It's heavy rain, the shoes soaking wet, dry it, wash it, and I use it on the next day itself. So for the overall, if you look at the upper, it's a bit dirty. Even though I already washed the shoes twice during this 300 kilometer period, so that it stay a bit white. But after my last run on today, it's a bit wet on the street. So there's some dirt around the shoes, same as the other pair of the side, same as the dirt already stick on top of the shoes. For the upper, from the padding on the back, there's nothing. It seems look very stitched up, everything look very nice, just a bit dirt. And the midsole, we can really see the wrinkle at the light stripe platform. You can see the wrinkle on the shoes, same as the other side. Also, we can see the wrinkle. This is all the because of the bending itself. So all the wrinkle on the light stripe form, and the form, the feeling on the form still low and still very bouncy even after 300 kilometer. And this is the left side of the shoes. Let's have a look on the bottom. So bottom of the shoes we can see seems like not really bad. This is the exposed form already starting eaten off by the continental rubber with the stripe already flattened. It is already like a slick tire here. Is very clean and very smooth rubber. This is where I land the most. If you compare from the front over here where I land on the forefoot towards this side is seldom land. You can see some of the line still all over. Meanwhile, at the forefoot this side, there's no more line. It's very smooth surface on the forefoot. At the back, seldom landing except I go for some walking and the rubber will turn yellow because of the earth itself or the dirt everything. Meanwhile, for the exposed form at the midsole on the left side, still look very nice. On the outsole, it's just only this area, the exposed form. Meanwhile, for the right side, what I right and what I wrong from the shoes. What I get it right is the exposed form will be eaten off really quickly. It's just after 300 kilometer, all the exposed form, the outer layer has been eaten off, already has a curve on the form itself. What I really get wrong is the rubber. on the rubber, the Continental rubber. Still, there's a lot of rubber, but the rubber already thinner, getting thinner and thinner. And this side is really smooth. The rubber on this side is really smooth. I thought the rubber will be gone much more faster, same as my Adidas Takumi Sense 9. The slick rubber gone out really fast. Meanwhile, for the Continental rubber, for this one, it's quite durable, but already eaten off quite more. We cannot see any more straight line. We can just see a very flat, smooth surface. For the things that I get really right is this exposed one. Already eaten off until there's a curve over here. Some of the top part already at this side already breaking off. This is after 300 kilometers I'm running using the shoes itself. For the upper, same as on the left side, there's nothing except some of the dirt and the socks or the came off already stuck in the between of the upper itself. And for the insole, we can see the words the RD0 already came off because the insole is a bit slippery, especially during wet time. The insole is a bit slippery, so all the wording has been came off. This side is still okay, but I'm not sure why. Maybe I put much more force on my right leg, so the insole, the outsole, everything wear off much more quicker. And one thing is the insole after this 300 kilometer, I found that the rubber of the insole already starting to came off. So I can just make it pull a bit, and I already saw the carbon plate right inside. There's a one very small pieces plate of carbon plate just right in the middle on the top. This seems like more to the stabilization of the shoes. Similar with the Nike Straight Fly that has a very small dog bone of carbon plate just in the middle of the shoes. It's not full length, just in the middle of the shoes. During this 300 kilometer period, what I really like about the shoes, the first thing is the responsive of the shoes. The lightness, the responsive, everything combined together. It's just like a Takumi Sense, remove all the rod and we put in much more form to the shoes. The shoes become much more responsive, lightweight, and much more forgiving to my leg. During this 300 kilometer period, I use the shoes almost every single run. I can consider like 95% of my run I'm using the pair of shoes. Unless the day the shoes still wet, still in the drying condition, and unable to use it, I only change to the other pair of running shoes. For all the run, 95%, I'm just using the Evo SL, and my leg still fresh after all my long run, speed workout, and I still really fresh. And the shoes really giving me a lot of response. When I want to go fast, the shoes able to provide me with all the energy and the response that I need. Even after 300 kilometers, the response from the form still audible. It seems like the shoes just went through 100 kilometers and the response still audible. There's a lot of response give from the shoes that I can take it from the shoes. Every time when I land it, once I'm starting to compress the form, when I want to go for my next step, the shoes able to give the pop for me to go to my next step. What I'm not really like about the shoes during this 300 kilometer period is the grip itself. The grip when it's wet, especially when it's wet, when it's not on the tarmac itself, when I'm running on my park itself, there's a lot of those stone, cobblestone. Once it's wet, the shoes become really slippery. When I land it, the shoes seems like a bit slippery because of there's no traction of the bottom itself. So the shoes feel a bit slippery when I'm running on the cobblestone. So when I land on it, when I try to go for some turn, I can feel the shoes seems like slippery. Seems like we are driving a slick tire on the wet condition. So when I'm running on the cobblestone, so I feel like it's going side or left. I can't really get the full traction of the Continental rubber. Once I back to the straight, the tarmac itself, it's able to grip on the tarmac. For dry, there's no problem with the shoes, but the problem came when it's wet. The grip itself on the cobblestone, on the grass when it's wet, is not really there during this 300 kilometer period. Once the shoes getting the traction getting much more thinner and thinner, there's no more line. The grip getting lesser and lesser, especially when it's wet. On the tarmac, there's no issue about the shoes. And the other thing that I'm facing is the insole. It's a bit slippery, but after 300 kilometers, it's getting better because I already get my footprint already print inside the shoes. I already able to secure my feet properly. I get a comment from other people that they're using same pair of shoes, they're having some issue with the insole. Their feet intend to go much more, go to the front, especially going downhill. For me, I faced the problem on my first run, so I release it much more tighter. Then this problem already no longer there. This similar with the shoes that I'm using as a Takumi sense. I also face a same issue. So I make it much more tighter lace over here so to mitigate this issue. But right now the shoes already 300 kilometer, the insole already have my footprint at that. Which area this shoe shine? What I'm thinking is around 530 and below. When I try to go faster, 530 and below, this is where the shoe shine. It's really giving me a lot of response from the form, the bounciness, the energy return that I get from it. If you are Adidas user, a Takumi Sense user, or Adios Pro 3 Pro 2 user, this is the feeling that you can get from that shoe itself in here without the rod. You can get the sensation pressing down the foam itself and pop it to the next step. This is what I think the shoes really shine at the pace. When I try and go a bit slower, around 6 minutes, 7 minutes during my warm-up and cool-down pace, when I'm using the pair of shoes, it feels a bit weird because a lot of energy on the shoes itself. When I compress on it, when I try to go slow, the shoes actually trying to push me to go at a faster pace. That I feel a bit weird and uncomfortable with the shoes when you're going a bit on a slower pace. But once it's go up to the 530 pace and try to go faster, when I using these pair of shoes, especially at the tempo pace, I running around 430 to 420. These shoes really nice to hold that pace all along the training session. In conclusion, what I feel about the shoes is definitely is a worth shoes, even though the longevity of the shoes slightly lower, the durability of the shoes slightly lower compared to all other super trainer. Definitely this pair of shoes is a really nice super trainer that able to fight with the super blast itself. If you're unable to secure super blast, maybe you can try to secure this pair of shoes, and it's cheaper than super blast. 629 ringgit for this pair of shoes. Meanwhile, so super blast is 825 or 829 ringgit. So this pair of shoes is slightly cheaper and much more fun to run with it. Definitely, I will keep using these shoes and see how far these shoes can go before it start to break off, especially on the outsole itself. And I will going to retire these shoes, and maybe I try to open up and see how the shoe structure look like. So if you want to get these shoes, remember 2nd of December in Malaysia, Adidas apps, they're going to launch these shoes with a limited release again. Remember to secure early, otherwise you have to wait until next year, March, for the release itself. So that's all, and see you guys on the next video. Bye.